Hi, my name's Todd Cook, and welcome to what I think is a very fun and special video. This is the video about our baseball wall. Now, our baseball wall is something that I've been dreaming about building for probably 8 or 9 years. If you watched this channel before, you probably know that it's mostly about baseball. I take my sons, Tim and Kellan, to a lot of Major League Baseball games. Both boys have been to every Major League stadium. And when we go to those games, we end up catching our fair share of baseballs. And for years when people have asked me, what are you going to do with all these balls you're catching? My answer has been, I'm going to build a baseball wall. And after years of dreaming, over the last month, I've finally done it. And in this video, I'm going to show you step by step how I built our baseball wall. Okay, the first step in building a baseball wall like this is to catch a lot of baseballs. This wall holds 975 baseballs. My sons Tim and Kellan and I caught every one of these balls at a Major League game between 2006 and 2019. They come from every current Major League stadium and several closed stadiums. There's no shortcut to completing step one. You gotta put in the time. It's a whole lot of fun. You gotta get out there with your kids, go to a lot of baseball games, meet a lot of players, have a ton of fun, make a ton of memories. If you put in the time, eventually you'll be ready to move on to step two. Okay, we've made it to step two. Isn't this exciting? So step two took me a long time to figure out. Now this is how I've stored my baseballs over the last decade after we catch them. This is your standard baseball cube you can buy at, any baseball card shop. My idea had always been that I would essentially build a system of little cubby holes that would exactly fit one of these 3-inch cubes. And I never knew how I would do that. Eventually, I started watching a lot of YouTube videos, and I figured out what step two is. Step two is to build a simple jig. Now, I'm not going to explain exactly how to make a jig, but there are a lot of videos on YouTube. I'm going to link one in the description that specifically taught me how to make a jig to make finger joints for making a wooden box. And this is the actual jig I used. Very simple, a piece of wood fastened onto my miter gauge from my table saw. This little spacer helps me space between the blade, and basically a baseball will fit right here. And once you build a jig like this, you can build a wall like this. Again, look in the description for a video that will tell you exactly how to make a jig like this. It's for making a finger joint, but all you have to do is play with the spacing, make it fit a ball, and you're in business. Step two. Okay, we've made it to step three. Step three is also very easy. This whole wall is made out of 1/4-inch plywood. This is what it looked like. Sheets of this. I got them at my local hardware store. And all you do in step three is cut these into strips that are about 1/16 of an inch wider than your baseball cube. That's step three.
We just finished cutting this wood and sorting them into stacks of 14. Each 2 stacks of 14 will make one 13 by 13 grid.
Beautiful. Thanks for your help. Okay, we're on to step four. Step four, also not that difficult. It takes a little bit of time, but I call it notching. See these notches? That's what the jig produces. So step four, you take your strips of plywood, you run it through your jig on your table saw, and you finish step four. Simple. I think there's 14 notches, so I think this will be one big box of 13 by 13. Okay, now step 5 is actually, I thought, the hardest step of the entire process. And step 5 is assembling the grids. This wall is made up of 6 different grids of notched wood. So you see, after you notch the wood, it fits together like this. And when you're just doing, a single cube, it's pretty easy. I can do it by hand, no problem. Baseball fits in there, it's beautiful. We're ready to make a wall. Now, step 5 in reality and in practice was a lot harder because I was dealing with strips of wood that had 14 notches in it, and I had to have 14 vertical and 14 horizontal strips all lined up to be flush. And it sounded simple. It wasn't simple. I got a lot better at it as I went through. My last grid was great. It was a wonderful process. The first one, as you'll see, wasn't so easy, but I got better. And if I can do it, you can do it. So step 5, assemble your grids.
I'm going to try to put one together here now. The first grid was pretty tight putting it together, and when I cut the notches, I just pass it through once. This time, you might have been able to tell that I went through and then came back, so I'm hoping they're just a tiny bit looser. So let's do this. Let's see if we can put one of these together.
Okay, next up, you think it's step 6, but I'm going to call it step 6 and 7. And that was applying a backing to the grids. I used another 1/4-inch sheet of plywood as a backing, and I painted the grids black. Now, as you'll see in the footage to follow, the process that I used changed throughout the process, and that's why I can't call it step 6. Step 7, it was sort of all done together. Not too bad, but here we go, step 6 and 7. Okay, we're on to step 8, and I have a prop. So for step 8, you'll see that the grids, once they're assembled, have these edge pieces sticking out. And step 8 is just using this Irwin pole saw to cut those edges off. It was a little bit rough going. I sort of destroyed this saw, and this was actually the second one I used during the process, but it did the job. Step 8, cut off the edges. Okay, once you got through step 8, you have 6 completed grids ready to be installed on this wall. And that's step 9, installation. The installation involves actually attaching these to the wall, framing it out around it, putting in molding around it, painting that molding. Once we're done with step 9, guess what? we have a baseball wall. Here's what that looks like.
Okay, the baseball wall build is officially done. Now it's time to fill that thing up with baseballs.
Now we have a completed baseball wall. Step 9's behind us. You might think we're done, but not that fast. We still have to get baseballs up onto that wall. And for me, that took a long time. I'm calling this step 10 and 11. 10 was sorting through the baseballs to determine which ones we wanted on the wall and which ones didn't need to go on the wall. And step 11 was actually putting them there, and that took a long time. Okay, so there you go, the 11 quick and easy steps to building your own baseball wall just like this one. Now, let me tell you, this project has been an absolute dream for me. I have envisioned this for 8 or 9 years, didn't know how to do it, thought about it, watched some YouTube videos, figured it out, built it. It has come out exactly how I wanted it, exactly how I always envisioned it. And it is so fun now walking in this room and seeing this wall. Now this room is our baseball room. We have a big TV right here where my sons and I are going to watch hundreds of Major League Baseball games, Seattle Mariner games over the years right here. And it is going to be awesome having this wall watching us watch those baseball games. So, hey, I encourage you to get out there, go to your local MLB stadium, minor league stadium, college stadium, high school field, have a ton of fun, catch a lot of baseballs. And if you want to, build your own wall just like this. Just follow the steps. You can do it. If you do, share a picture or a video. I would love to see it. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's been awesome making it. This is more YouTubey than really I've ever been, but I hope it was worthwhile, and I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for joining me.